Hey everybody, welcome back to my kitchen. You guys, today I'm going to do this powdered sugar pound cake. Now, I was corresponding with someone probably at least a year ago, and they were talking about a powdered sugar pound cake. And my thought was, what you mean powdered sugar? Where you use powdered sugar in lieu of the granulated sugar. Y'all, that sounds really interesting to me. So I happened to think about it and decided, okay, we're going to try this cake. I can only imagine, since I won't be using the granulated sugar that's, gritty, that the powdered sugar would make it like light and fluffy and velvety. So we're going to see. I cannot wait to see exactly what this texture will be like. But I'm using Swan's Down cake flour today. I've not used Swan's Down probably in a couple of months now, but I'm using 3½ cups of Swan's Down cake flour. I'll be using ½ teaspoon of salt. And then we'll be using 3½ cups of powdered sugar, Confectioners Sugar, 3½ cups. Y'all, I would be using 8 eggs. 8 large eggs in this recipe. My eggs are room temperature. And then a whole pound of butter today. 4 sticks of room temperature or softened, unsalted butter. Gonna do about a tablespoon of vanilla. And you guys, I've never tried this lemon emulsion. I purchased this from my cake supplier here where I get my Laura Ann oils and cream bouquet, and I want some lemon flavor in this cake. I just think light and fluffy, it needs to have some lemon in it. So I'm going to try this lemon bakery emulsion. And let me see, I've never used it, so I probably need to use just a little bit, so maybe about a teaspoon of it. All right, we're going to bake this one on 350 degrees. So my oven is preheating, and in the meantime, I have thoroughly washed my hands. Y'all, don't be in the kitchen with nasty hands, because I'm telling y'all, that's just nasty. Okay, I was looking for my spatula, so let's go on and get this cake. Let's go on and get this cake mixed up. We're going to start by, I'm going to mix my butter until it's smooth. So I want this butter totally smooth. I'll grab my spatula in a minute, at least the one I want to use. So we're going to mix this all by itself and get it smooth. Number 2. And I'm going to do a glaze on this cake. It's going to be a real simple glaze. I just feel like it doesn't need a whole lot. I guess because I expect it to be so light, fluffy, and tender. I don't want a heavy, heavy glaze on it. Does that make sense, y'all? So stick number 3, and then stick number 4. I'm going to add 2. Go on and put my ½ teaspoon of salt in here. My ½ teaspoon of salt. We're going to add that. I'm also going to add my vanilla, about a tablespoon, I guess. That's enough. And then go on and add my lemon emulsion. It's not even open. Let's see. About a teaspoon. thickerish, okay? So now we're gonna, like I said, cream this butter until it's smooth. And that's only going to take, you know, maybe just a couple of minutes, if that long. I want it really smooth and kind of whip it a little bit, all right? And then I'll slowly start adding this powdered sugar. And I would imagine I probably won't have to cream as long. So I usually cream about 10 minutes. But today I'm only going to cream maybe about 5 until it gets fluffy. And then once we get to that fluffy stage, I'll stop the mixer and come back so you can see exactly what it looks like when I say light and fluffy. Ooh, y'all. This really is light and fluffy. It almost reminds me of whipped cream. That's what you need to be looking like, y'all. So I creamed for about 6 minutes, and it is really light and fluffy. When I cream on high. So this mixer, I usually have it set on about 8, 8.5. So now we want to start adding our eggs. We're going to add our eggs one at a time. And I'm going to mix them long enough to where when I add the egg one at a time, the yolk will break. And I'll mix it up just a few seconds after that yolk breaks. And then after I add all of my eggs, then we'll slowly start adding our flour. We don't have anything to alternate with, but we're going to slowly start adding our flour. And you'll notice after I add the last egg, before I start adding my flour, I'm going to turn this mixer down to low. So it's going to be on about 1.5 or 2, so I can slowly mix in my flour. Another thing I meant to mention too, that this guard has really come in handy when I was adding that powdered sugar. That way it didn't poof everywhere. As usual, the information about this mixer is listed in the description box below, as well as the ingredients that I used for this recipe. Alright, so let's start adding these eggs, and then we'll get our flour added, and then we'll be ready to bake, to pour this cake and get it baked. Before I start adding that the flour, I wanted to show you guys the batter. The batter is looking curled. You see that? But it's okay. No worries. That's how it's supposed to look. I just wanted to share that with you, so those of you who decide to bake this cake, you won't be alarmed when you see that, okay? I did stop while I was adding the eggs one time to scrape down the bowl. And I also stopped when I was creaming the butter. I stopped. I forgot to mention in the beginning, when I was creaming the butter and the sugar, I also stopped twice to scrape down the bowl when I was creaming the butter and the sugar. Alright, now let's get this flour added. Now, unlike I do when I'm fixing my regular pound cakes, I mix this batter a little bit longer because I wanted it to be smooth. So I probably mix it at least about a minute longer than I normally do, okay? Because you do want this batter smooth. And this is so interesting because it's so light and fluffy, and it's thick. I'm not going to be able to zoom in today when I'm pouring because it's just too thick. Look how thick this is. See that? So it's definitely a thick batter. Woo! This bowl is extremely heavy. Y'all thought that hunk of batter was going to hit the floor, didn't you? Y'all know me. I'll do it in a minute. I thoroughly sprayed my cake pan with Baker's Joy. And today I'm using my Pampered Chef stoneware bundt cake pan. Y'all look at the video. Don't see. The last time I used that pan, I said exactly what kind of pan it was and that it was from Pampered Chef. And somebody sure enough asked me, where'd you get your butt pan from? Y'all, that lets me know y'all skipping around in this video. I need to spray a little bit more. Yeah, when I get questions like that, I mean, it's possible that you could have missed it, but more than likely you may have just fast forwarded through the video and missed that part. Y'all, sometimes I be wanting to ignore y'all when y'all be asking me questions, and I know I said it in my video. That means you left class. You left class or you came in class late. Y'all, but this is my Pampered Chef bundt cake pan. I've had it for years. I think the older it gets, the better it cooks. There's something about this stoneware. I just think it gets better with age. I know it definitely turns colors and gets more seasoned. Ugh. Yeah, this bowl is so, this mixing bowl is so heavy. So again, we are going in 350 degrees. And I'm thinking for maybe about an hour. We'll see. I have to let you guys know exactly how long it baked. And I certainly will. This batter is fluffy. Okay, so we're trying to get it leveled out. Try to get it as even as I can so my cake won't be lopsided. Okay, so like I said, we're going in. I can't hit this one under the bottom, it'll hurt. 350 degrees, and I'll let you know how long we baked when I'm done, when it comes out. Okay, we baked for about an hour and 5 minutes or so. Like I say, your baking time is going to vary depending on your oven. So we're going to cool for about 10 minutes before we flip it. In the meantime, we're going to do this quick, simple glaze. I'll be using powdered sugar, and you guys, I usually never really measure. In an effort to try to give you some measurements, I would say start with about 2 cups, 1.5 to 2 cups of powdered sugar. Like I said, I don't want a real thick, heavy glaze this time. And that's only because I anticipate the cake to be light and fluffy, and I don't want to weigh it down with the thick, heavy glaze. So that's about 1.5 cups. I'm going to add just a little bit of my cream bouquet. I get this also from my local cake supplier. Just a little bit. And then now when I add my milk, you guys, you only want to add a little bit at a time. If you pour too much, it's going to make your glaze too thin, and you'll end up having to add more powdered sugar to fix it, okay? So start with maybe a couple of tablespoons, just a little bit in the beginning. And what I like to do is I like to have it pretty thick initially. That way I can mix it up and get it smooth with it being thicker. It's hard to get it smooth if it's really thin. You just have all those little lumps of powdered sugar that's hard to smooth out. So just do a little bit of liquid at a time, whatever you're using. You see, I'm just using some milk. You can use, sometimes I use coffee creamer. you know, you could use whatever liquid you wanted to use, okay? I never use a mixer because I just don't feel like it's necessary to use a mixer. I always mix it by hand. Always gives me a great arm workout. And just that quick, we have glaze. And you see how smooth this looks? Real smooth and creamy. So then at this point, I can always add a little bit more glaze. Not a little bit more glaze, a little bit more milk to thin it out. I think it's okay right now. We'll see. Because it's going to sit here while even after I flip the cake, while the cake totally cools. And if I feel like I need to thin it out a little bit more after it has set, I'll just add just a teeny bit more milk. Oh, it's taking a minute to release. I haven't heard that thump yet, y'all. Ooh. I haven't heard that thump. I'm scared. I'm just going to let it sit here. I'm going to let it sit here, you guys, and hopefully it'll release. Lord have mercy. I had this cake pan sprayed so good. Okay. I'm going to leave it be. We'll see how this turns out. Okay, I decided to kind of slam it down on the counter, and it released a little bit. Oh, Lord have mercy. Lord have mercy. Y'all, I'm scared of this. Okay, here we go. Oh, okay. It's all right. It's all right. Woo, I was worried. Oh my goodness, didn't it turn out pretty? Okay, y'all, listen. Y'all was getting ready to see it though. Okay. Here it is, y'all. Okay. Woo-wee. I was so serious. Oh my goodness. Okay. All right, so in the meantime, y'all, we're gonna let this cake cool. Ooh, y'all. I was so worried. We're gonna let it has to totally cool before I add the glaze. And y'all know I was gonna show you. Okay, so we're gonna totally cool before we add the glaze. So it's gonna be sitting there at least a good hour or so, okay? Thank you, Lord. Y'all know, for those of you that bake, you overstand that part. Sometimes you just feel a little, some kind of way when it's time to flip, and you don't immediately feel or hear that thump of that cake release. Okay. Powdered sugar pound cake with a simple vanilla glaze. You get ready to taste cake and energetic beans. Is that what you're doing? You ready to taste cake all while energetic beans. It is time. smell good.
They do.
What are you talking about they do?
You talking about the cake?
Yeah.
I'm talking about the jelly beans. Hey everybody!
Yeah.
What kind of cake you got? That looks like some ice cream go with that.
Like,
That's the ice cream
you
cake.
and your jelly beans.
Tell you what, it better not taste like no jelly beans.
Let me taste yours.
The jelly beans?
No. Cake. Let me leave the, let's get this little piece right here for this point.
So consider it.
Do like this to get the flavor. What you think?
Some lemon?
It is lemon, some lemon in it. And I like to ask him questions since he doesn't know the ingredients I use to kind of see if he can tell a difference. Can you tell? Does it taste different? Is there something different about it?
Is any cream bouquet in here?
I put just a tad bit in the, it is some in the icing. I mean the glaze. What's the texture? How's the texture?
I was just going to say, it's not as moist.
It's not as moist?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
Not as moist.
Is it a little denser?
Yeah, it is. I was just going to say that. It's a little denser.
So you wouldn't consider it light and fluffy?
No.
It reminds me of a grandma cake, if that makes sense.
Yeah, this is... I could tell when you put like cream bouquet in it because this is so much more moist.
No, that would be cream bouquet.
What?
You mean cream cheese? Are you talking about cream cheese?
No, it's not as moist.
Cream bouquet is my flavoring that I use.
What? Okay, what's that when you put the whatever?
Or sour cream, or you do like cakes with cream cheese.
In that world's most moist cake, what did you put in it?
Vanilla pudding. I put some pudding in it.
Okay. Well, this is not. It's not as moist and it's more denser than any in the.
Yeah, I expected it to be lighter and fluffier. I wonder if I cooked it too long, but it's good. It does. It reminds me of a cake that, like some type of old-fashioned cake, maybe that my grandmother would make.
Actually, it's something.
It's good.
Like I said, it's,
oh, but look, before I forget, I'm sorry, baby. I want to cut you off. It's made instead of with regular sugar, it's made with powdered sugar on the inside. So you know how I put all the regular sugar? It's, you know what the powdered sugar is? You do know that white fluffy. That's what it's made with rather than regular sugar. Y'all, this is interesting. It has a really good flavor though.
It does, but
it's good.
It's not as moist as the cakes you normally make. I'm trying to figure out what makes
and see,
it.
I thought it would be light, fluffy, velvety. And again, it makes me wonder if I cooked it a little too long. I wonder if that made the difference. Y'all know I was trying to make sure it was done because it was new for me because I've never baked a cake that used powdered sugar. And then some directions I was seeing with the different recipes and stuff that I was looking at was saying bake it like 45, 55 minutes. That wasn't long enough.
What is
that? Wasn't long enough. What is what, babe?
The cake.
It's a powdered sugar pound cake. I didn't tell you the name. It's a powdered sugar pound cake. Move to the right just a little bit.
Well, from the pound cakes you make,
it's good though.
It's good, but
you like the regular sugar.
Your pound cakes has a signature taste to it.
Oh, you.
What's that?
Y'all, did y'all see that fly out on me?
Did it?
Yes.
I'm gonna take a shower.
I'm gonna take one too.
We're gonna take one. Donnie's gonna take.
Ow. But you did spray me with some cake, baby. Oh. I was like,
it's
scared
well,
me.
That lets you know it is not as moist as your cake. So, but no, honestly, your cakes have a signature taste to them, and this it's not as moist.
It's not. And it's just that you're used to that regular sugar. Yeah.
Yeah, it would be.
To me, it's not. Now that I took another piece, it really is not as moist to me.
It would actually, yeah, it's like a grandma cake that grandma made, and really, it's just, it's.
I mean, no offense to grandmas, no offense to y'all.
We're talking about.
But it tastes. It has an old-fashioned taste to it. It's just hard to explain, but the flavor is really good. What you want to say?
It's like not a young people cake.
Not a young people cake, okay. Anywho, I want to experiment, but it's good. It has a good flavor.
Well, it's a good flavor, but it's just.
It would need some ice cream with it.
Yeah, it definitely would need that. But I'm just so used to everything. Every cake that you make there's such moisture to them, and it's not. And I don't know if it's the powdered sugar that is.
It's definitely that's the difference. So that's definitely what it is. And like I said, I may have overbaked it a little bit. Trying to make sure it was done, honey. Anywho, okay, well you guys, you heard it from the cake tester himself.
The official tester.
The official cake tester. But if you enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up. You guys turn on that notification bell. Subscribe if you don't mind.
And shake something.
Consider
hit the nosy.
Turn on that notification bell. When you do, it shakes, and that's that shake something.
I'm trying to get the icing off of it because the icing is
shake something. And see, I didn't want to do a whole lot of glaze. It's not icing, it's a glaze. I didn't want to do a whole lot.
Well, you should have did a whole lot.
That's good.
Good.
Okay, but that's a one and done for me. So, anywho, thank you guys so much for watching. We already look forward to you joining us again.
Next time.
Next time. Bye.